Drop him. One hook and I'll rock him. One more and I'll stop him. Call the fighter, I'll lock him. Up him. If he reach, then I'll pop him. Street sweeper, I'll wash him. Homicide, come and chalk him. Drop him. One hook and I'll rock him. One more and I'll stop him. Call the fighter, I'll lock him. Up him.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Nate Diaz slaps a member of Team Paul, a member of Jake Paul's team, backstage. And, you know, as G and Trill pointed out, Jake Paul called out Nate Diaz. And so I guess Nate Diaz was there and he didn't take it too kindly and he wanted to react. So
you gotta stop playing with Nate.
Here's Nate Diaz.
Over here. Y'all niggas are quiet for 48 hours. Shut that shit up.
You saw right there. It looks like Nate Diaz reached over and slapped a member of Jake Paul's team.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
I ain't see no slap.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Oh, all right, I'll run that back. Hold up.
I'm all like zoomed.
I know, kind of small.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you what to look for. There's a guy in a white tee, and do you see what Nate Diaz is in the video?
White tee. He had a bald head.
Yeah, that's the guy.
He's the one that got slapped.
Yeah, that's the guy. So hold on. Before the video starts, it's going. Can you see the cursor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can see the cursor. All right, I'm gonna put the cursor where it's at. All right. Right there.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
You missed it?
Yeah. Nah, I seen it. It was mad quick though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, see, it was just right there. And that's when he puts his hand up. So Jake Paul responds to this in the post-fight press conference, and this is what he says.
You know, Nate Diaz was here acting like a bitch. Everyone wants that fight. He tried to fight people in the hallway. You know, Nate, stop fighting people for free. Let's do it in the ring, okay? I know you're a little slow, buddy, but it's okay. We can make that fight happen. It's you know, typical of him. That's what he likes to do. He's a street gangster. He likes to act tough, and he's really not. Like, why are you trying to beat someone up in a hallway, bro? You know, Nate Diaz was here acting.
So that's what Jake Paul had to say about the incident. I'm gonna turn over to you, Dog Bill. What's your reaction to that?
Good setup for the next one. You know, that's what I see. This is a good setup for the next one. You know, look, stop playing with Nate Diaz in the hallway. You know Diaz ain't wrapped too tight. You know what I'm saying? You say the wrong thing to Nate Diaz. He's known for slapping people, slapping reporters. This is what he do. Don't say the wrong thing to Nate, you know? But, yeah, this is a good build-up for the next one, the next MMA guy that he's going to fight, you know, who, you know, is chilling and can't not be able to go the full distance because going to show a good showing. But it's I don't know, man. It's the Jake Paul show that we're watching. And that's my problem. Here's the problem. And I was just talking to the bros about it. This is my problem. You know, shout out to Jake and what he's doing. My problem is that the crazy fans are going to be sitting here like thinking that he is this phenomenal boxer and great boxer because he's beating up on these MMA guys who are not training in this sport. You know, like people are already saying with Anderson Silva, you know, like, oh, he beat the great Anderson Silva, and they're leaving out the fact that he beat the great Anderson Silva, who's an MMA fighter. They're just gonna say
that.
Exactly. They're just
47.
Yeah, they're not gonna mention none of that.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna say he beat the great Anderson Silva, he knocked out Tyrone Willie, and he dropped the other guy. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna say anything that makes sense. And even though that this fight is entertaining because of Nate Diaz and who he is, this is just another pick for Jake Paul and sets up this circus. I mean this thing that Jake Paul is doing. But kudos to Jake Paul. He's doing what he's doing, and he's making some money, and he's bringing some new eyes to the sport, some new people I have to argue with.
All right, Conspiracy.
Yeah, I don't care about this segment. I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying?
It's out there. You know how it is, bro.
Yeah,
I'm with you,
I agree 1000% with Trill. I feel like, again, this just seems like more gimmicks to promote Jake Paul's next fight. So I'm not falling for it again. So go ahead, Ned.
I don't care about this fight. Let me stop. I'm gonna say this to Jake Paul's the member on the team who got slapped, missed opportunity, man. Nate Diaz slapped me, I'm falling out. I'm just having a seizure on the floor. We're going to court. Litigations, man. You let that man slap you, he's a professional fighter.
I know.
You are just a civilian.
All the tattoos that dude had, and he did that, he could never go on his own street.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you are a civilian at this point, employee just working your job, and you didn't deserve to get slapped like that. So I'm just saying, next time, Nate Diaz, man, some people looking to get slapped. You were gonna slap the wrong person one day, and it's gonna backfire. But if it's all shenanigans with Jake Paul and Nate Diaz, this guy Jake Paul's 3 steps ahead of his fans. Like, I got my fight set up after every fight. And they already got the contract signed, and he's gonna just knock him out because to build his ego and build his pride. I don't care for it. It just seems like a waste of time. It seems like a bunch of nonsense. But I'm not paying for this fight.
You get on the Nate Diaz slapping the actual person, like Trill said. If this is a setup, which I don't put it past, the situation and the people involved, then that's one thing. But Nate Diaz does have a history of slapping people. Like, he slapped a reporter. We saw that. And then he's slapping. And he always appears intoxicated to me or under the influence or something. So it just seems like, one, although that may attract some people to the fight, it just makes me feel like this is even more of a reason why Nate won't beat him. This is more of a reason why I don't want to see him fight Nate. Nate is slapping a dude in the hallway, and the dude in the hallway doesn't even budge. He's like, all right, come on. He slapped the reporter, and the reporter's like, yo, come on, man. It's all good or whatever. And, like, I'm not even joking. Y'all know me too. I'm saying. But if I just slap someone, they're going to react a lot differently than that. Like, I'm just saying, like, my man is, like, so there's that about him. Then it's like, I never rated him as a striker. Like, I know people be like, oh, the Diaz brothers, the Diaz. Every time I watch him, I thought he was slow. I thought his technique was bad. I'm just sitting there thinking, and I'm watching Jake, and I know Jake's going to catch him with an overhand right and drop him. But you know who else knows that? Brian Flores. He knows that. You know who else knows that? Jalen Love. They know that. Go ahead, Dollar Bill. Oh, you know that too. Yeah, Dollar Bill knows it. They all know. Like, the one thing that I give Jake is he's surrounded by a team of boxers. For sparring, preparing for Anderson Silva, he brought in Bad Chad Dawson, Connecticut's finest. Okay, he brought in Bad Chad, and Bad Chad said, "Yeah, Bad Chad said he's doing all right. He's bringing in people like me, and we working with him, and that's the real stuff." You notice he's fighting retired MMA fighters, not retired boxers. Because he could try to bring back Bad Chad for a fight. Well, why not fight Bad Chad? He don't want that smoke. He's training with retired boxers to fight retired MMA fighters in boxing. Let that sink in. Why not fight the retired boxers? Why not fight Jalen Love? Why not fight Brian Flores? Why not fight Bad Chad? Why not fight those guys? Right? Because he knows better. He wants the retired MMA guys who don't know nothing about boxing. Jake is at the point now where he's been boxing more than these guys have been boxing. when you talk about MMA, you talk about a good striker in MMA. A good MMA striker isn't. We teach a boxing class. I'm not going to name the person or the gender. We used to teach a boxing class until COVID hit, and there was this one person, and we tried to teach this person the proper way to box, and this person was like, "This is how I do it in MMA. This is how I do it in MMA," and refused and stance horrible. I just like, cool. You probably get beat up in MMA. You're gonna get beat up in a boxing match too, and that's just the way it is. And it's always the people who are doing things wrong that don't want to take instruction on how to do things right. And so that's another thing when you got to look at like some of these guys who had success in MMA. When you have another person telling you you have to change what you've been doing because it's not going to work in this arena, they're like, please. If there was ever the embodiment of someone who I don't think is going to change what they do that's wrong in order to win a fight, it's Nate Diaz. I see Nate Diaz throw horrible punches, and I don't believe he's going to improve or change who he is. Not that guy slapping people in the hallway. Not that guy slapping reporters. So you mean to tell me he's going to take Jake so seriously that he's actually going to become a better boxer? Yeah. I'm not buying it, bro. Y'all go sell that fight somewhere else, man. I'm good. I'm good on this fight, yo. I would even accept him fighting Tommy Fury. Because at least I know he comes from a boxing family. At least I know that his brother's a fighter. I know his dad's a former fighter. I know his uncle's a fighter. I know his cousin's a fighter. At least I know this man grew up in boxing gyms. I would accept that fight. I'd accept Hakeem Rahman Jr. for the same reason. But Nate Diaz, please spare me with that. Spare me with that sideshow.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing.